Good afternoon. It's great to be here with you in Dubai to talk about what makes a factory AI ready and how digital disruption can be a competitive advantage for food and beverage manufacturers. I have to say that listening to the panel before this session, a huge amount of alignment and agreement between the session and my presentation here, which is really good because one of the panelists is my boss. So it's always good when you agree with your boss. But let's zoom out and think about the macros and some of the real challenges that this technology is trying to solve. And of course, today, we're in a world of material disruptive innovation. We all know about the transition from a VUCA world to a Barney world, and that transition is in no short part due to a lot of the technologies that we'll be talking about in the next 10 or so minutes, specifically around AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning. That technology is introducing a huge amount of power for innovation, and we want to take full advantage of that. In the food and beverage industry, a lot of challenges, predominantly led by cost. And all the food and beverage producers that we connect with identify reducing total cost of ownership as one of their top two key initiatives for growth. So keying into that for us when we're looking at the solution set that we're building with these tools is really important. But that's not the only element that food and beverage producers are struggling with. They are contending with increased regulations, more drive for sustainable manufacturing, responding to consumer trends, making sure that they're able to upskill their workforce in an environment where there is less access to the experience and the capabilities that they need to run their factory footprint. And as the question that came out of the audience suggested, a lot of these factories are actually legacy assets that were designed and built 15, 20, 30 years ago, never designed for the agile environment that we find ourselves in today. And then when you do a deep dive on some of the micro trends, a lot of the categories have their own unique requirements and challenges. Whether you're looking at powder, which is very, very focused on energy reduction, whether you're in new food for recipe agility, or whether you're in ice cream and you're dealing with seasonality from a demand perspective, there's a lot of those challenges that come into your manufacturing plants. And over time, over the last 2 decades, I would suggest, automation and digital solutions have provided a lot of answers to those key challenges. And we know through our industry experience and working with many food producers around the world that a highly automated equipment environment can pick up somewhere between 7 and 20 points of increased efficiencies through automation. At the same time, when you consider the full end-to-end factory scope, we can reduce waste from raw ingredient intake all the way to final distribution up to 45%. Those are huge numbers if you consider a factory running 24/7, 365 for 15 years. There's a massive amount of cost impetus there, and of course we're dialing straight into that total cost of ownership number. So those are the proof points, and the proof points continue to be validated through the investments that are being made. And a recent study showed that up to 2028, about a quarter of all capital spent in food and beverage is somehow connected to a digital solution or initiative in the business. So not only are the results there, but the investment is there going forward as well. And by the way, we see that number increasing after 2028. So let's get on to the topic at hand, the world of AI. And of course, adoption is increasing dramatically. When we looked at a survey of companies around the world that have double-digit growth in their plans and drilled a little deeper into some of the key strategies that they're using to drive that double-digit growth, 65% of them said some form of AI in their operational plan. 52% of them some form of data science. So there's the acknowledgement that these tools and technologies will certainly allow us to accelerate growth and innovation. Historically, the use of these AI tools has been somewhat constrained by the level of capability inside an organization. So 3-4 years ago, you needed to have a data scientist on hand, someone that actually understood the models and the maths to be able to implement these types of solutions. And that's reflected in the survey at the bottom of the slide here around lack of AI expertise. But what I would suggest here is in the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to see that item dramatically decrease because the capabilities and the power of these tools is increasing exponentially. And the ease of use in which anyone can pick up these tools and start to become effective is becoming accelerated month on quarter on year. So the big challenge that remains is the quality of the data. And this was talked about in the panel discussion a little before. The quality of the data that feeds these AI tools is really the oxygen in terms of the value that they are able to create. And in food and beverage manufacturing today, we still have a lot of legacy, fragmented systems, inconsistent data in both format and quality. And that is going to be the #1 challenge going forward in terms of extracting value out of these AI tools. So, what have we learned out of all of this at Tetra Pak? Well, we've learned that an AI-ready factory, a factory that's ready to take advantage of all of these tools to accelerate innovation and growth, needs to have a couple of things. It needs to have the ability to be able to integrate data into a vast array of assets. Great question from before. I have a 20-year-old factory with 25-year-old equipment. How do I manage that? And we need to have a technology capability to be able to extract the data from those assets without going into those assets and reconfiguring them in any way. We need to have the capability to be able to leverage that data without interrupting operations. When we stream that data from all of these assets on the factory floor, we need to be able to create an in-context data model of the entire factory flow. That's super, super important because it's only in the context of the data that the AI tools will be effective. Raw data in a big pool is not really that useful. It's the in-context data, the data that works together, that shares together, and the modeling around that data is one of the key pivot points in terms of accelerating value. And then the architecture needs to be scalable. Use cases typically start small and grow over time. The architecture has to be able to scale with the value that we're able to create. And then the technology choices have to really protect this infrastructure against cybersecurity incidents, but also technology obsolescence. And that's a key part of how we think about architecting that solution. And so this is the roadmap for AI ready. 3 of those 4 are pretty obvious. There's one on there that's not as obvious. And so I challenged myself to kind of unpack that a little more. And that's the context, that's the concept of in-context data. What is in-context data? What does that even mean? So I thought about Lego. Lego is an interesting analogy. Everyone loves Lego. You walk into a store, you think about the Lego model that you want to build, and you've got this picture of the end state in mind. But you have to do a few things to get to that point. First thing you need to do, you need to collect all the pieces. So you take the box from the store that you've recently purchased, you unpack the box, rip open the packet, put all the Lego on the table. That's the collection piece. Collection is very important, but not as important as securing that data at that point. So at the point of collection, you need to make sure that you have a cyber-secure approach to the data. Just like you don't want your dog to eat any of the Lego pieces, the model's not half as good if that happens, you need to secure the data at that point. You then prepare the data by putting the data that's in the same type of format together so you can access it quickly. This is all about quick access to the pieces that you need. And then you start putting the pieces that work together to start building the context between the pieces. Now you can start building elements of the model and eventually clip them together. This is exactly what we do with data. We take equipment data that works together, we take process data that work together, and we build those in-context models. And we put those unit operations and equipment data models together to create that digital twin of the plant. It's super, super important. And if you could do one thing to get your plant AI ready, it's get the right data that you need to solve your biggest problems and put it in context. When this works, it's beautiful. This is a fairly recent example of a very, very large dairy facility in China that we worked with on a heavy automation and digitization program. They had a really strong vision that was very ambitious, and they called it 1-10-100. The 1 stood for 1 million tons of annual raw milk processed in the facility. 10 stood for 10 billion local currency in sales from that throughput, and 100 stood for 100 operators on the factory floor. That's down from 1,500 in their brownfields equivalent. So a huge shift in operational mindset and capability. This facility here has 24 of our packaging lines and all of our upstream liquid food processing capability as well. So it's the true end-to-end solution for the factory. Why was this relevant? 32% reduction in operational costs. Now, if you think about that in a facility that's going to operate for the next 15, 20 years, that is a huge profit lever for the business. 60% fewer quality defects, 55% in reduction in delivery times. So a huge number of very strategic KPIs influenced by the way that we are able to automate the equipment on the factory floor, orchestrate the factory as a cohesive whole, and then create the analytics tools on top of all of that digitization to be able to optimize the ecosystem. So, my final message here is food and beverage producers have a unique opportunity with all of these tools to innovate and drive incremental growth. The outcomes are clear. It's all around cost reductions, optimizing a changing workforce, the regulatory compliance, agility, innovation, and of course, making those legacy assets relevant for longer. We know and we've learned that the technology barriers are coming down. The ease of use is getting much, much better. But you still have to partner with a set of industry specialists that understand your industry and can turn your vision into a practical and applicable roadmap. I talked about the importance of the in-context data and how that's the growth engine of this whole AI revolution, and the fact that you need to protect that at all costs. The final thought that I'll leave you with at the end of the session here is, this is all fantastic. It's a very, very interesting landscape to work in. But the technology is not enough. It's only as good as the business challenge that you're solving. And so you have to pick those high impact business problems to solve, really get into it with the tools, and generate the value with accelerated value. As Charles mentioned, we've taken all of these lessons learned and we've implemented them in a new ecosystem of automation and digital solutions specifically created for food and beverage. And with that, I'll leave you with a short video here describing that and hand it over to PC, who's the next speaker. Thank you.